Ambassador Mohan Kumar, former Indian ambassador to France, joins us, and he knows a thing or two, I presume, about the Louvre. Ambassador Mohan Kumar, the thieves exploited the security vulnerabilities there. What does this reveal? I mean, highly trained thieves or just poor security?
I think a combination of both, I suspect. It certainly was a professional job, and I think the culture minister of France and the internal security minister admitted as much. This is an absolutely professional job because this monte meuble, as they call it in France, this crane with the kind of ladder that you see is a very common sight in Paris, Mark. And I want to explain to your audience that in France, if you live in an apartment in Paris, and if you buy a new piece of furniture, it doesn't enter through the door or the stairway. It almost always enters through the window. Even if you are in the fifth or the sixth floor, you use that equipment to make sure that a sofa or a chair that you bought reaches through the window because the staircase and the doors are too small. So that itself is not a red flag. I mean, you see those all
Right.
over the place in Paris. So that's the first. Second, I think the fact that the thieves knew what they were looking for. They're not looking for large art objects. They're looking for relatively small pieces of jewelry, which are very, very expensive. And they made their way out through Yamaha motorcycles. So they knew exactly what they were doing. But frankly, it is the lack of security that is going to cause a lot of investigation and angst in France because
Right.
the alarm at that place did not work, and the larger alarm of the museum worked, but by then it was too late. Secondly, the guards did not have any weapons or guns, so the robbers, who were also unarmed, by the way,
Right. Right.
were able to scare off the security personnel just with a metal cutter or what is known as the angle cutter, disc cutter, if you like. So, a combination of factors, I suspect this will lead to a very major investigation. The
Investigation.
only thing I would say is that the Louvre itself was under renovation. So, it was due for a renovation. The fact that the windows were not secure is also the other point that one has to note. So, all in all, this is one of those classic situations where everything that had
Yeah.
to go wrong went wrong.
Indeed,
So,
indeed. But when thieves take historically important items like this, is it easy for them to sell them because once or to monetize them? Because I suppose that it will be easily traced back to the investigators.
So that is one of the reasons why they chose the objects that they did, which was necklace and earrings and tiara. Because what they will do, Mark, I suspect, is that the diamonds and the pearls will be separated from the jewelry and the metal itself will be melted. And that's why there is a feeling that in the next 48 hours, if the thieves are not caught, the general expert view is that you can forget about the jewelry. You will never recover it. You may catch the culprits and the thieves, but you're not going to get the jewelry back because by then there are people who are waiting, and this is obviously a professional job. So there are people waiting to cut the diamonds, to remove the gold, and then completely dismantle it and then sell it in the black market so that you will never know that this was part of a piece of jewelry that actually belonged to the Louvre. So that is the real risk that we are talking about.
Ambassador Mohan Kumar, also, does this put fear in the minds of collectors of art and lawful holders of artworks? That they have to they have to have the best kind of protection for their art because there are thieves all around, and and the underworld or this sort of black market, as you call it, is vibrant and it's alive.
No, you're right. And I think I don't want to say that Paris is different from the other cities because it's a common problem, whether it's Paris, London, or New York. But Paris itself has been the object of such things. In the last 5 years, I was just going through a bit of research. I think the National History Museum lost a lot of gold. and the Limoges Museum lost a lot of porcelain. And this, I think, is, of course, the biggest heist that they are talking about. So this is rare, but not entirely inconceivable. And you will recall that there were also some robberies associated with celebrities on Champs-Élysées in Paris about 4 or 5 years ago. So there is, I think, a problem. And I think the French have to get a grip on this, because it does seem to me that something does not add up.
Right.
And there is a lax, you like if you like a security situation that can only be described as lax. And this is the most visited museum we are talking about.
Absolutely.
So and for example, two of the three rooms in which this jewelry or these precious jewels were located did not have CCTV cameras which worked. That is simply unforgivable. In a
Right.
museum of the kind that we are talking about, not having CCTV cameras or not having CCTV cameras that did not work is simply unacceptable.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Ambassador Mohan Kumar, and do stay with us because we'd come back to you to talk about, the US China trade war after the break. Do stay with us, sir.